Welcome to Innovators of Tomorrow. I'm your host, Bob Duffy, here to bring you the sights, sounds, and inspirational work from developers in our innovator community from around the globe. Today, we are talking with Pedro Kayatt. Pedro is a leading innovator from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's an avid game developer and entrepreneur, and Pedro is currently focused on VR through his own company, VR Monkey, as well as collaborating with other publishers in Brazil. So let's talk with Pedro. Welcome to the show, Pedro. Thanks for calling in from Sao Paulo.
Thanks for having me in the show, Bob.
So I'm excited to talk to you, Pedro, because VR is an area that you're into, and a lot of our community members are also really excited about VR. So my first question is, what are you working on? What are you doing in VR?
Well, Bob, we are working in so many fields in VR right now. We are working with industry, doing industrial training. We are working with educational. We are doing, of course, games because everybody loves games, right?
Yeah, I love games as well. But you are doing some things beyond gaming and entertainment. So the other question I have for you is, on that side of things, are you trying to do some things that have a positive impact in the world with VR?
Yes, of course, Bob. As you understand, we are from Brazil. It's a developing country, and we want to make it better, right? And we understand that the only way that we can make a country better is through education. So our main idea is that, for instance, we have the project Dinos do Brasil, that we are hosting it in one of the biggest museums in Brazil. It's called Catavento Cultural. And there we can have like 25 people can experiment half an hour of a trip to the prehistory of Brazil. And this makes people understand not only the educational part through experience it, but also make the people understand that they can build that kind of technological environment. They can be part of it. So we are trying to inspire people to also be better than us, to create even further things, even better things than what we do. That's very important for us here at VR Monkey.
That's great to hear. It's inspiring to hear as well. And I think we all know, those of us who've done VR, is you can't really understand it until you've done it. And it's cool that you're giving people a taste of it. But I want to ask about that balance of doing something that's a personal passion of yours to actually having it make sense on the business side. So how are you managing that?
That's not easy. That's not easy at all because, through like a 2D screen, people doesn't get what is virtual reality. They look to a trailer of something in virtual reality, they don't understand why it's so amazing. When you put a VR headset, then you understand that this is amazing. And for instance, educational, it's amazing, but school doesn't have the money to pay for like virtual reality equipment. Even worse here in Brazil because of the taxes. So what we do, we are working with business models that we can borrow the equipment and the schools just pay a license to use the equipment and the content. So we have this kind of control to help people to not spend too much money on the start so they can really experiment before they buy something, before they are spending money. This is one of the main ideas that we are holding now.
That is really neat. So one of the other questions I get from developers a lot is really, how do you focus on all of the platforms? So you've got the stuff from the mobile side to the consoles to Vive and Oculus, and with mixed reality stuff from Microsoft, many, many, many more coming. So how do you guys deal with that? I mean, do you focus on one side of it, or you just spread across all of it?
Well, it's hard, but we understand that we want to reach most of the people that has headsets. There are not too many people using headsets right now. So we focus on creating content for standalone devices and mobile headsets. But then we have a pipeline here in the company that can scale up experiences. So the idea that we make it with very basic graphics for these standalone devices, and then we can scale it up for an HTC Vive and an Oculus Rift, bringing much more quality to the visuals and much more experience with the 6D OF. So this makes a lot of difference, and we can reach everybody who has a headset. That's our main idea here.
All right, so another area that I know developers are struggling with, because they want that 6 degrees of freedom, right? They want the more immersive VR, and that's dealing with motion sickness. Have you guys run into this? Are you doing anything to help with motion sickness?
I'm very sensible for motion sickness, Bob. So I'm a great tester here in the company, because what I test, I just take it out and say, oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. Sorry guys, this is worse. And it's hard. It's really hard to get the feeling. So for instance, in our last game, Apocalypse Rider, that we are about to launch, The idea is that you're riding a motorcycle and you can just steer the bike moving your head. It makes much less motion sickness because when you get it, you're just driving. It's easy. You don't get the sickness. You don't get this disconnection between the reality and the virtuality. So the virtual, it's much easier to understand when you are moving your body to do something. And this we do a lot of research trying to get the great sensation and to not make people just sick.
All right, so you've got a lot going on, but what's next for VR Monkey?
Well, we just got a funding from FAPESP, that's a governmental institution here in Brazil. And we are building what we call the Future Lab. That's a virtual reality laboratory where you can do experiments in chemistry and math and physics, everything just using virtual reality with motion controllers, millimetric precision, everything. And it's safe and cheaper than real laboratories. And we understand that we can just change education as it is doing this. And also we are working several other games. We are about to launch, after Apocalypse Rider, we are launching Viking Days. That's a game that you kind of experimented living off a Viking, but like running from giants, luring dragons, forging swords. It's pretty amazing. Focused on the motion controllers user, so you hit the stuff, you're just launching axes. It's amazing. And we have two games to come. One of them, it's pretty awesome idea. It's basically not a job simulator. So you try to not work. You would love that.
Yeah, I want to do that so I can not work and be a Viking.
Exactly.
Excellent. That's great. So you, Pedro, you are really fantastic in all the work that you're doing here. And I want to just give a special thank you for taking time to come out and doing the show.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thanks for having me.
You can connect with Pedro and follow along with his project at the link provided. Also, we encourage you to learn more about the Intel Software Innovator Program and what Intel is doing in the field of VR. That wraps up this installment of the show. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Intel Software YouTube channel to keep learning about Innovators of Tomorrow. And on behalf of an amazing video crew, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Bob Duffy. We'll catch you later.